This is already the 14th Policy Answer webinar. My name is Janine Halder and I'm working at the Austrian Research Promotion Agency FFG, which is based in Vienna in Austria. And our speaker today is Annalisa Cartabia from Xjenza Malta. And we're going to hear today a presentation about Malta's experience in the EU partnerships, its contributions and the added value. The agenda today is that we have the small welcoming, we have then about 30-minute presentations, and we would ideally keep the questions and this discussion then until the end. And at the end, you can then put your questions in the chat or raise your hand. We would also like to stay in touch. So you see in the chat our different channels that we are using, our email address, our official website from the project, and also the stakeholder platform on which we will also then provide the slides of today and the video recording. So this webinar is video recorded. Just if you want to turn off your camera or change your name, that you're aware that we're recording this webinar. As I mentioned, this is already the 14th webinar, so we had 13 past webinars. You find this also on the platform. This is the last of the links I copied into the chat. And the webinars had all a little bit different topics. They were focusing on digital, health, and green, which are the main topics in our work package at the 4 of the Policy Answer project. And we had a focus on EU missions, partnerships, but also different topics as smart specialization. Yeah, so today we're very happy that we have Annalisa Cartabia, who is an R&I funding specialist at Xjenza Malta and is working in the Internationalisation Unit, giving us a presentation about the experience of Malta in EU partnerships and how it is contributing and adding value to Xjenza Malta. So Annalisa, the floor is yours, and you can share then your slides and go through your speed.
Perfect. Let me share my screen. Okay. I hope you can see the full mode presentation, so I can start.
Yes.
Great, thank you. So, well, thanks a lot for the introduction, and we are very glad to be invited today for this webinar. It's definitely a very good occasion for us, Xjenza Malta, to tell you a bit more about our experience as a small, widening country in European partnership, the contribution and the added value that came from it. As I mentioned, I'm Annalisa, and I represent Xjenza Malta, specifically the Internationalisation Unit. So before beginning with the partnerships, I wanted to give you a brief of our agency, Xjenza Malta. We are a national funding agency, but also a policy development and implementation support and coordination body in the area of research, innovation, and also space. We have a very increasing multi-million portfolio of funding research programs that definitely in the years is contributing to strengthen the research areas within our country in many sectors, from academia and also private sector. And we are aiming at continuing establish new niche area of research, leading to innovative and new tangible products and services that are up there for our citizens. Xjenza Malta is divided in specific technical units. I will not enter into details of each of them, but I would like just to point out briefly the policy and strategy unit, because as you can imagine, is a key unit. Basically, it provides the strategic advice to the government in the national and EU research policy and development priorities, and it also oversees the implementation of two very important policies: the national R&I strategy and the smart specialization strategies that are running until 2027 for now. These strategies are, of course, guiding our work when it comes to ensure that our investments are addressing Malta-specific gaps and needs. Then, of course, there are other units like the R&I unit that specifically manage national funds. Now we have also a new unit that is mandate to work on the space research. We have the Framework Program Unit, where you can find the national contact points for Horizon Europe. And then it's us, the Internationalization Unit. And we came following a policy support facility review that was done back in 2019. So we are still quite young as a unit. As per the name of the unit I represent, we follow also international trends in R&I. So we are representing Xjenza Malta in various international and regional science diplomacy fora. And our main goal is to strengthen the international research innovation collaboration amongst the local and the foreign researchers. We do so by implementing various regional international funding programs, still applying national funds that are aimed to the local R&I stakeholder community. Just to give you a bit of an example, for instance, the budget commitment for next year in local fund is approximately 7 million for our unit internationalization. And with these local funds, we manage, as I mentioned, various funding schemes. These funding schemes, they go from small networking and capacity building initiatives towards bigger projects that are basically spanning across all levels of R&I, from basic to applied research. And of course, the range that we allocated for the project to be funded are different, basically depending on the type of the project. Here, just to give you a bit of a further reference to the Malta specialization strategy. As you may know, this strategy identifies key priority areas for national development and basically drives Malta through R&I. Of your interest, and it's very much in line with your project, we have identified, of course, health and well-being, sustainable use of resources for climate mitigation and adaptation, future digital tech, and 3 more that are very much in line with Malta development areas of smart manufacturing, marine and maritime technology, as well as aviation and aerospace. This is our current portfolio of funding programs. As I've mentioned, it's really vast. Here is just to give you a brief of an idea of what we do. We have a portfolio which is encompassing 4 bilateral programs from one end, and this entails a cooperation, bilateral cooperation with another country. For instance, we have a cooperation with MOST, the Ministry for Science and Technology of the Republic of China, through which we launch bilateral calls for R&I projects. We have also a very, very successful cooperation with TÜBİTAK, which is a very important funding agency from Turkey, and other seed grant funds. And these bilateral programs help the stakeholder of Malta to grow capacity when it comes to apply for cooperation for international projects. And we hope that starting with the bilateral projects, so with only one other foreign partner, will help them to be successful in bigger projects, like the project from multilateral programs that usually are entailing a bigger number of partners. In fact, as you can see, we participate in various programs. Thanks to these programs, we are basically collaborating with more than 50 countries from Europe and non-Europe. We are part of PRIMA, which you might have seen, and that was a webinar, the last webinar from the project about PRIMA, which is the Partnership for Research Innovation in the Mediterranean area. Which tackles mostly agricultural research area like agri-food value chain, water management, and the farming system. We participate in key health partnership like the Transforming Health and Care System and the newly launched One Health Antimicrobial Resistant Partnership. Also very important for Malta, participation in key initiatives for the blue sector like the Sustainable Economy Partnership and JPI Oceans. And then also partnership related to the energy sector, like the Clean Energy Transition Partnership and the Advanced Material, which is represented by the ERANET. Also, we have our Access to Partnership scheme, which is a bit aside from these programs, and I will present you a bit later. Here is just to give you a screenshot of basically how the smart specialization area I identified earlier here in the table also are basically transposed in the different programs that we are part of and we launch at yearly basis. As you can see, digital technology is basically featuring, our programs, because usually it's an horizontal thematic area, very relevant for our country. We are also very much involved in programs related to health and well-being and the sustainable use of resources, as I mentioned earlier. Of course, if you want to receive further information, you can always visit our website as well, where you can find more details. And here is also a nice image, I think, to present you how the internationalization team growth through the years. Basically, as I mentioned, we were established in 2018-19. Back then, only 4 calls were launching. You can see that the slide depicts the year of when the first call was launched for R&I project. Of course, these programs are launching yearly call, so they repeat through the years. So we start with almost only 4 programs, and we are reaching now, already looking forward to 2026 with more than 10 initiatives in our portfolio that we are launching currently or next year. So definitely our team grows a lot, and this growth was driven by the addition of new initiatives to our portfolio over the years, which again significantly strengthens our internal capacity and expertise, and I'll come to that a bit later. So now I wanted to give you a brief on the Horizon Europe partnerships. So what they are, basically, I think you might know, but I just wanted to give you further information. Horizon Europe Partnership are a new instrument which was built under the latest framework program of the Commission, Horizon Europe, and is running until 2027. Basically, the Commission tried to simplify a bit the portfolio of opportunity there to reduce the application of efforts by creating bigger partnerships that sometimes are incorporating all their initiatives like the ERANETs or the GPI, the Joint Programming Initiatives. Partnerships are a combination of the Commission together with national and private partners that are joining forces in order to address pressing challenges in Europe like climate, innovation, health, energy, and many others. And one of the key tools from this partnership is, again, the launch of joint transnational call to support research and innovation projects. Before delving into the calls, I wanted to give you a brief on the co-funded European partnership, because this is basically the type of partnership that Malta is participating in predominantly. Co-funded partnerships are based on a grant agreement between the Commission and the consortium of partners. Consortium of partners meaning us as a funding agency, ministries, even sometimes a research performing organization. So it might be a very, very big consortium of partners. And this grant agreement results from a call for proposal that was launched by the Commission through the work program. The budget for co-funded partnership comes mostly from member states like Malta and the other partners and associated countries. And this budget in total is combined with the co-funding from the Commission, which usually it's 30 to 50%, and it's called A2P. As I mentioned, a very important tool from partnership is to fund transnational R&I projects through annual calls that are launched yearly basis in order to support this project, but also partnership are doing other type of activities, so like capacity building, knowledge transfer, and many other activities within a partnership. The A2P, so the money that comes from the Commission, it's used to cover the partnership management costs, but also to maximize the number of projects funded through this call, and I'll tell you a bit more later. Here it's how a joint transnational call looks like. So basically you have a partnership co-secretariat for the specific partnership. The secretariat is mandate to build the call, to lead the process of the call. Of course, the Commission is always also collaborating with the partnership in this. And then you have the different funding and member states. So these funders are pulling up national funds to support the respective national research teams. You can imagine that this allows to reduce the application of effort. So instead of having only one call at national level, for each nation, apologies, you have one code that is combining all the countries participating in the partnership, and sometimes also a key to solve issues that cannot be solved at only at the national level. What usually a joint transnational call requires, basically the calls are following Horizon Europe rules. So you have the minimum of 3 partners from at least 3 different participating states in the call. Self-funded partners are allowed, meaning that are bringing their own funds. One partner, of course, needs to assume the role of coordinator. What this creates a bit more bureaucracy, specifically in the co-funded partnership, is the aspect, again, that the partners in a project are receiving funds from their funding agency. So this basically entails the adherence to the respective national rules, a bit for more bureaucracy there. And of course, every country have different national rules for state aid and other aspects. As a national funding agency, Xjenza Malta also serves as a national contact point. So basically, we are involved in many aspects of the joint transnational call, from reviewing the call text and the documents. As you can imagine, this call text has the description, right, of the thematic area for a call. So this has been discussed with the partners to find a common area that is, of course, of relevance for all the partners. We have then to support our local applicants. We have perform administrative checks. We assisting them in finding other partners. So there is quite some work to do for the calls. But then, after all I mentioned, what are the added values for us to be part of Horizon Europe partnerships? Well, first of all, I started with the strategy, the policy strategies. Well, thanks to participation in these initiatives, we are implementing what was mandated by the R&I policy and strategies, and we are also able to bridge the gaps with the international R&I ecosystem. Also, as we participate in many initiatives now, we have increased our visibility for our agency, and we have now collaborating with a lot of partners. Thanks to this collaboration, we were asked to participate in other partnerships, in other projects. So always a very important collaboration and growth there for Xjenza Malta. Then we definitely build internal capacity and experience. This was also due to collaboration with more experienced agency, other funding agencies that are there from longer than us, of course. We receive financial support. This definitely helped us a lot for improving our HR efforts and to have a longer term vision of the growth of our unit, because I will present you some example for there. We have some person months, some allocation of budget to be participating in the partnership. There is also an interesting tool from co-funded partnership that is called Just Return. Basically, once Xjenza Malta awards a Maltese beneficiary, we are able to receive a small percentage of the EC top-up I presented earlier, which is called Just Return, that support us in the management of the project, in the and providing also the funds then to our beneficiaries. And another very important tool is that we are that is implemented by the partnership is the widening initiative within the joint transnational calls. This initiative basically helps in boosting participation from underrepresented countries like Malta. Of course, we do not receive as many applications as might other countries. So thanks to this initiative, which allows adding participants at stage 2, so through the full proposal of a call, allow to include a partner, that is definitely a very important tool for us to be more successful in the calls. Just to clarify a bit more all I said, I think it was nice to give you some example. I will be quite brief, but one partnership I can present to you very briefly is the Transforming Health and Care System partnership. We are Xjenza Malta partners in this in THCS since the very beginning in 2023. We are together, as you can see, it's a very big consortium, 66 partners from 27 countries. Also, there are some non-EU countries in the THCS. And we are running until 2028 with 6 co-funded call to be launched. We are actually launching in a couple of weeks the 4th joint transnational call. The budget plan for THCS was of 305 million euro over the duration of the partnership, and Malta, the government of Malta, allocated 3.5 million to participate in the THCS and support the Maltese researchers and innovators in the calls. Of course, the general vision and the strategic research and innovation agenda were aligning all the countries, and the general vision is of contributing to the transition towards more sustainable, efficient, resilient, inclusive, innovative, and high-quality people-centered healthcare system that are equitable, accessible to all people. I wanted to present you also the structure of this partnership. As you can see, it's basically a project in itself, right? It's divided in different pillars and different work packages. As Xjenza Malta, we are participating in the work packages that are here highlighted. We are part of Pillar 0, which is program management. Basically, we participate in the General Assembly, where we discuss with all other partners and we take decisions related to the governments of the partnership. We are reviewing the annual work plan, which basically described the work for every year. We do perform financial report as a normal project under Horizon Europe. And so we have some personal months allocated there. Then we are very much involved in the Pillar 2, which is the pillar for research and innovation funding. This pillar basically is a key pillar because it's mandate to launch, to work on the call and launch the calls. But also, I would like to point out that as Xjenza Malta, we are very much involved in Work Package 8, which is responsible for the project monitoring and assessment of the project results and impacts. Basically, under this work package, we are task leader, through, of course, also the help and the collaboration with more experienced partner. Xjenza Malta was able to take on board this task, which entails for us to provide an impact assessment analysis following every joint transnational call. And we also contribute to the monitoring, to the actual monitoring of the THCS awarded projects. So again, just to clarify, Xjenza Malta has an allocation of personal months, and a different reimbursement rates is tailored to the specific task and responsibility that we have within the partnership. And this, as I mentioned earlier, helped us to provide a long vision, and even in terms of HR, to be able to work in this partnership. Another example I wanted to make is about Prima, also because you had a very nice webinar, the one before this one. As you may know, Prima is a cooperation of 20 participating states. It is not a co-funded partnership, it is a different one. It's an institutionalized partnership, and basically it's joining countries from northern and south shore of the Mediterranean region. In fact, there is a very good cooperation with 5 third countries that have specific agreement also with Horizon Europe for participating in Prima. The program is very big, it's around 700 million, and the budget, as you can see, is split amongst the Commission and the member states. Of course, I will not enter into all the details of Prima, the different sections, but why I wanted to give you this as an example is mostly because of Prima Section 3. Basically, the Section 3 of Prima is related to other participating state activities, so activities that are created and launched by participating states, that are monitoring, that are funded and launched by participating states, in this case by Xjenza Malta. And we are very much active in this section. And here I give you a few examples because we wanted to help our stakeholders to grow their capacity and their collaboration with foreign researchers. In fact, from the Section 3, you can see that our bilateral fund with Turkey, it's a key example, and actually was created thanks for our participation through Prima. This bilateral with Turkey, with TÜBİTAK, started as Section 3 under Prima, basically launching calls focusing on the Prima thematic areas that I mentioned earlier. But through the years, the interest and the growth of this bilateral fund was exponential, and even allowing us in the last couple of calls to include shared national priority areas that we as Malta shared with Turkey. In fact, we managed to include aviation, smart manufacturing, health, and also digital technology within the call. And again, a bilateral project is definitely a stepping stone for Maltese research and innovation to be able to perhaps then apply for the bigger Prima call, the multilateral Prima call. Then we have a couple of supporting schemes for training, mobility, networking, and we also organize some nice workshop to prepare our stakeholders to apply for Prima, to build a network, to encourage them to participate in the Prima calls. Also, as you can imagine, out of the partnership, another very important added value is being able, as a country, to support Maltese research and innovator in important projects, in international and high impact projects. And here I just wanted to give you a brief of a few examples of ongoing project that we had awarded the last year. So we had a very nice project under Prima, Novish Pack, where you can see Malta is collaborating with many other countries. And basically, Novish Pack had developed, the scope of this project is to develop biodegradable antimicrobial packaging to extend the shelf life of Mediterranean fish fillet. We have a project under JPI Ocean, Isolume. Here, basically, the consortium is trying to see how marine life conditions have changed and their effect on the marine ecosystem. We have a very good example under the Sustainable Economy Partnership, Waste to Taste, which is aiming at turning fishery byproducts and invasive species into high-value food ingredients, again, to reduce marine waste and to create marketable products. And also a good example under the Clean Energy Transition Partnership, the Tensai Grid project, where the partners are developing smarter, faster tools to help electricity grids to safely run 100% with renewable energy. So now I'm reaching the conclusion of my partnership of my presentation. Before that, I wanted to tell you a bit more about our access to partnership scheme. So basically, here is a slide, a very good slide to summarize all the partnership that you can find under the framework program under Pillar 2. As you can see, the partnerships are divided in the different clusters, like Cluster 1 Health, Cluster 4 for Digital Industry and Space, and so on. And Malta is participating in the highlighted partnership that I showed you a few of them earlier. Of course, we noticed that as a small country, we couldn't participate as an official partner in all these partnerships. And in order to be able to provide opportunity to Maltese researchers and innovators to participate in other partnerships where we aren't there, we created this A2P scheme. Again, the scheme helps our stakeholders to participate in Horizon Europe partnership calls where Malta is not an official funding partner. Through A2P, we can provide up to €300,000 per project to Malta-based entities to participate in these calls as self-funded partners. We can see that definitely this scheme is helping us strengthen even more our international collaborations and hopefully enhancing the research and innovation capabilities of the country. As you can imagine, there are some criteria that applicants need to meet once applying for A2P, like the call text. As I mentioned, the call text is like a very important document within a joint transnational call, which describes the research priorities, objectives, and other important aspects of the specific call. There are, of course, some consortium rules. As I mentioned, A2P applicants need to apply as self-funded partners through a call. So most of the time they cannot act as project coordinators, and also they do not count towards the minimum required number of consortium partners that I showed you before. and they should bring their own funds. In the case of A2P, if they are successful in their application through A2P, the funds will be secured by via Xjenza Malta. And of course, again, national rules are playing a key role here, and so applicants need to respect them and be knowledgeable of the rules. How it works in practical terms, the application process, we ask interested applicants to submit a very brief administrative application via email at least 15 working days before that specific pre-proposal deadline of the call. Basically, these days are allowing us to perform the admin checks that ultimately we still need to do. And I think something came up, I don't know. I will cancel, sorry. So that we can perform admin check and approval, and then we can issue the letter of intent, which is basically a very important document that declared that Xjenza Malta will be able to support these applicants if the project is awarded. Thanks to A2P, also, as I mentioned, we create new cooperations, because as you can imagine, one of the issues we had is that through the other partnership, stakeholders wouldn't know about this the scheme, right? So they wouldn't know that Maltese could apply through the A2P. So we basically contact most of the partnership out there, and we were glad to receive some positive reply. And I'm very happy to say that the Driving Urban Transition Partnership was the first one to believe, I think, in our scheme, and in fact they really helped us a lot to showcase our opportunity in their call, in their website. And then we start to have further cooperation for their good examples from, for instance, the Partnership for Personalized Medicine, ERA for Health, and some more that are yet to come. So I think, yes, I conclude. I hope it was interesting, and I'm really glad now to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Annalisa. Thank you very much. I think it was a very, very nice presentation. Very, very interesting, showcasing the very clear how you're building up Xjenza Malta over the time with the different projects, and explaining that also participating in the partnerships brings a benefit, is bringing PM into the agencies, into the funding agencies, or to the coordinator of such a project or participant. And this and again, like you say, you are not the only one then working on such a task. You're connecting again to other partners working on a specific topic, which is not just the call. And you can raise your hand, or we're a very small group. This is the advantage of a small group, is that we can have a very nice flowing discussion. So I hope that you have some questions for Annalisa, either by the chat or as we're a small group. Maybe it would be also nice to see you by video speaking. Does someone wants to start with a question, Sanja or Elke?
I can break the ice, of course, if I may. Thanks a lot for the presentation. I was wondering, because this communication that you managed at the end with those different partnerships and your appreciation of, for example, the DUT partnership, how would you, I mean, where are the hindering points, you know, kind of like where are the barriers to reach those partnerships and to get them to collaborate with you? And I have a second question that I would like to add upon that. I think I remember you said it is 300,000 euro that you are giving as a kind of maximum per project. And how did you come up with this figure, and why? How low can you get, or what's kind of like a minimum threshold to be taken serious when you approach these other partnerships? So if the money question is an important one, or if it's more on other sides where you need to demonstrate your capabilities and to gain this trust that you said would be necessary as well.
Thank you for the questions, very relevant. I'll try my best. So Well, I wouldn't say that was easy to find the cooperation and collaboration with the other partnerships, because I mean we are still trying to grow our capacity, so not many funders or coordinators are still knowledgeable of what is Xjenza Malta. But first of all, I would say that through the cooperation that we already have ongoing, through participation as official partners in clean energy transition, in transforming health and care system, from there we start creating our network. So we got to know other people that know other people, and usually this helps us a lot. And this was, for instance, the case with DUT. I would say that for other type of collaboration, it really depends on who is on the other end. I think I know everyone is busy, but definitely we tried our best. And what was also very successful is to meet them in in-person events. I would say that that was also very, very useful, because as Internationalisation Unit, we are also part of the Partnership Knowledge Hub. So I don't know if you might be aware, there's also another policy forum that is very relevant for partnership, where we met other key actors in this partnership. So we built from everywhere we could. So we are also a very, very young and active unit. So we are very proactive. So we tried, then we hope for the best. But I would say that the help of more experienced people also really supported us in this matter. For the second questions, when it came to the budget, basically it's more or less our experience. So we noticed that Maltese researchers, when it came to partnership, so to participate in this bigger consortium as a partner, so not as a coordinator, and it's basically what an A2P scheme would still include, right? Because you cannot coordinate, and usually as a self-funded, you cannot really be work package leader, for instance. So it's a bit of a smaller task, but at least it's an opportunity. So we noticed that they were asking more or less for this amount, because for usually a 3 years project, it seems quite in line with the tasks that they would take in this consortium. For the normal participation in call, we allocate usually 500,000 euro. And of course, in that case, Maltese can coordinate, and we really wanted them to succeed there. But unfortunately, we didn't have a positive case yet. This is another point that we are trying to grow there, because we know that it's even more difficult for a small country or a small entity to be able to coordinate a project. And we might come up with some support schemes there. However, the budget is always out there based on previous experience, but we are quite flexible. We have to see how we'll be performing with this A2P and how things were moving along. I hope I replied the questions. Thank you.
I can just follow up on also maybe the question one with the being a from the perspective of in the management of the DOT partnership. So the partnerships, like also in DOT, we're kind of used to partners that are non-beneficiaries. So we have this in every call. So we had for example, in DOT, the US and India project partners participating, although they're never partners. And the consortium, usually the leaders are very smart that they are not taking a risk, so that basically the main base, which has to be fulfilled to fulfill the criteria, is fulfilled then with partners which are eligible, and that the non-beneficiary is adding a plus, but that the project would still fulfill all criteria of having a SME, a researcher, 3 different countries by the funding partner. So we're kind of used having this. We see it in all calls. It's of course not the ideal, but it's an opportunity for someone that maybe has funding, either like you from an offering from a national funding agency, but maybe also just having enough budget, but just not the way to have the footprint. So in this step, what you mentioned, application is usually something everyone as a partner has to do as well. The most funding agencies ask also for national applications in addition to the application to the partnership consortium. So in the end, it's many structures that are already there. And just want.
Now that I was thinking, I forgot to mention that definitely we are official partners in a key partnership based on the strategy I showed you earlier. But also, once we launched the access to partnership scheme, we also thought that this will also create knowledge for us. So if we receive a great amount of application for a specific partnership, this will actually create the momentum from the actual research community to say, I think this partnership is very relevant for the country, so we might need to look how to become official partners, or be more involved than as official partners. So we are using this A2P also in this sense. And I would say that they were very interested in DUT, in fact, Maltese researchers, and we hope that would be leading to successful applications. Thank you.
Some other questions too.
I raise my hand.
Oh yeah, I think I cannot see the hands.
Yeah, so thanks for this great presentation. My question to you, do you see that your growing participation in European partnerships helps implementation of smart specialization strategy? That is the question, but I just want to add some more comments here. I assume you have action plan for smart specialization, you have monitoring, and that's my main question. What I want to really give you as a compliment, I mean, you and Malta all together, is how well you choose strategic priorities within S3. For example, what I really like to see that you pick up proper niches, like, for example, you even pick up the proper niche, nice niche for aviation industry.
Mm-hmm.
And while, for example, in the Western Balkans, and here, I mean, participants from Western Balkans, they can probably confirm, we really set up much broader strategic priorities, and I think this is a big problem. And then we are struggling in implementation of S3. So my feeling is that participation in European partnership is the best way to have successful implementation of S3. But maybe I'm wrong. And my question is, do you see this somehow helps?
Unfortunately, it's a very good question, but I don't think we are the best person to reply to you, because it's not our unit that takes care of the smart specialization area, and unfortunately we didn't build the strategy. But what I can say is that yes, it's quite specific as areas, and I think sometimes, I mean, it wasn't the first one, of course, and there were a lot of consultation with the private and the public sector, of course, and I think in our case was easy to reach the community that it is relevant when you have to come up with the strategy, right? So I think that was an aspect that helped a lot in defining specific areas. Definitely then through the strategy we applied to partnerships specifically for that area, but you saw that, for instance, when it came to aviation, that you made the example, we are not participating in partnerships specifically targeting aviation. So we had to create the opportunities ourselves. So we started with TÜBİTAK, and definitely we knew that there were alignment with Turkey, and we were very happy to see that aviation was a key drive in their country as well. So we couldn't implement it in our portfolio. So I think also sometimes if your partnership are also quite general, like the Transforming Health and Care System partnership, it's quite general in health. Then to define specific project for specific smart specialization area, we create the opportunity ourselves. But for the monitoring and the definition of the strategy, unfortunately, I'm not the best person. I don't think if Christy has, my colleague Christy has further indication on that. But definitely, if you want to know more, we can connect you with our policy unit. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I cannot see if there are hands up. Are there any other hands?
Now I see one hand from
yeah, can you help me out?
Yes, Sasha, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now yes.
First of all, apologize for missing first half of the event. because I was traveling from Croatia. I couldn't reach Montenegro on time, and still haven't arrived home, as you can see. So just to tell that we are also small, let's say, team at the Innovation Fund, consisting of 13 people. We started 4 years ago, and till now we succeeded to develop 10 plus different programs for supporting only innovation at the moment, but also a collaboration between academia and the companies and business sector. Sorry for missing first half. I think it was very important for our, let's say, cooperation between our institutions for sure, and for some experience which would be very useful for us. So we might directly communicate and maybe consider a kind direct of contacts and some new, let's say, short meeting for discussion.
Definitely.
My question would be dealing with the support schemes. Since we are only providing support to companies, you are probably supporting universities and academia more, since you are more towards science, let's say. But for companies, are you considering state aid rules? And that is the reason why you are providing 300K, or it is just support that could be even go above?
So thanks for the question, and of course we can also communicate even after the meeting, the webinar. So when it comes to private entities, yes, state aid applies, and the 300,000 euro is the maximum that applicants can request from academia, public, NGOs. That's kind of the maximum limit for all our Malta-based entity. But yes, when it comes to private, they have to co-finance part of the project. So of course they will not get the 100% of the funds, but more or less we are around 75-70% that they get, and the remaining part is co-financing from their end. You also said, right, that we are a bit more towards academia. It's not really true in reality, because we are reaching technological readiness level up to 8. So of course it's not a product that is in the market, but we are quite close to market, or a product definition, a product inventing, or whatever. But in Malta there is also another agency, that is Malta Enterprise, which then has support schemes specific for companies then basically are into the market. So with very high TRL, business plan support, voucher program, this startups. So we kind of divide a bit our work within the two agencies, but we are still striving a lot for private entities in Malta to apply for research innovation. But I mean, it's another aspect, right? It's a bit more risky for a company, of course, but I think the funds out there are still quite interesting for a company. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Is there another hand up that
I don't see?
I cannot see? No? Yeah, then
I would
maybe,
have maybe
yeah.
one.
No, there are three.
I would have one more
at the same time.
Or maybe Sanya, you go ahead. Now, my question would be, now that you have done this process, and I think it's extremely smart to have like one program A2P, and then it's up to the research community to select and to do that. So I'm still a little bit with this. How do you create the awareness at the level of the partnerships? Because this is also what we were trying. And your smart program is one thing. So if we would convince someone like the Innovation Fund or a stakeholder in the region to create a similar fund like the A2P, maybe with a smaller budget or a smaller limit or whatever. But do you think that the processes that Malta has done have been a kind of trailblazer or like a model to follow? And if they are a model to follow, what would be the steps and the recommendations that you would give? Okay, you take this, what we have presented here, we convinced you, let's say, but what would be the next thing then to do?
That you have to invite us in a few months' time for updates. Because, yeah, unfortunately, since it was the first year we launched A2P, we are still also in a bit of a learning process. So we can't really say, okay, it's working great, you have to do as us. It was an idea, we managed to launch it. We had received some application through A2P for duty, but now we have to see if we'll be able to support them projects, to be able to have collaboration with other partnership. Definitely, it still requires some work, right? Because as I mentioned, if you aren't collaborating with the other partnership, the stakeholders wouldn't know about A2P. So we are trying to grow the capacity there. And unfortunately, we are growing, but we are not still as many as we can follow on A2P and, you know, check every partnership and have multiple meetings on a specific partnership, because there are more than, I think, 40 partnerships. So we are also focusing a lot on the ones that we are participating. So unfortunately, I don't think it's yet a best practice, but we might have some results next year, and hopefully then we can say, okay, it worked with the capacity that we have, it worked, so we are continuing it, because of course the idea is not to remove A2P, we want to bring it to the next years. Of course, again, we also don't know exactly what will happen with FP10, with the next framework programming. Maybe everything will be changing again, so then we have to learn new systems. But I hope that we have good news from the next year. And if any stakeholders here or that are participating in your project are interested, then they can contact us, and we are more than happy to organize an online meeting, and we go through that individually. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sanja, you had one?
It was not me who put hand. I think Fjorda put hand up.
No, it was me.
Ah, okay. So 3 hands up at the same time.
Yeah, because we use the same account, sorry.
I can also make one comment, which I find is remarkable for Malta, being one of the smallest country in Europe, that you are placed on number 12 on the innovation scoreboard out of 27 EU countries. I mean, it's really your showcase for the Western Balkan. I think how, if you concentrate, if you find best finishes, if you somehow make these kind of links, which you are doing in a miracle way, you move the system incredibly fast. So
Yeah,
just
that's
congratulations.
a very good data. Thank you.
Yeah, and we had not all funding agencies joining, but I think it's also that we, after the webinar, we take a few more efforts to disseminate the video and the slides to the funding agencies or the ministries that are involved in the project that couldn't make it today, that they're aware, that we contact them in person, and that you can then maybe, like with Montenegro, have some bilateral exchange.
Definitely.
And maybe share some
great.
more insights. I think this would be really great, because like Sanja said, it's a great example. So if there are no more questions at now, we're also anywhere going towards the end of the time, then I really would like to thank Xjenza Malta and Annalisa for giving us the insights, for the trust, showing us how you grew and how you're managing it, how you're pushing your researchers, connecting them. It's really great example. So we will upload the slides, and if agreed, also the video recording, and we will do our best to further disseminate the great work you're doing in Malta.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting us. It's really good for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I wish
We keep in
everyone
touch.
a very nice afternoon or evening. In Vienna, it's already dark. It's evening. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye, bye,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye. Thanks everyone participating. Bye.